Hi guys, so I'd like to share with you today my 3 steps to self-acceptance. Because especially for us highly sensitive people, the journey to self-acceptance can be a challenging one. Because we spent most of our lives feeling like outsiders, right? And we've often felt judged by others, especially by people who were non-highly sensitive people. And then we're finally suddenly told as adults that we need to be more accepting of ourselves and be more confident in ourselves. Now, a few years ago, I was going through some personal struggles and I was fearful of how I might impact other people if I were to live my authentic self. And when I say this, I mean both in relation to my high sensitivity, but also my sexuality. So I wasn't fully living as my authentic self. I was too afraid or even ashamed of how some people might feel if I were in some way to make them uncomfortable, and I didn't want to have to face that. And I remember someone telling me back then, you need to accept yourself. So from that point, I didn't really understand what accepting myself even meant. So I started Googling it. And I was asking myself, what does it even mean? And how do I even do it? Does that sound familiar to you? If this is what you're going through right now, please drop me a comment. I'd love to hear that. Well, and I also notice this confusion in clients that I work with. And this is why I'll be sharing with you today my 3 steps to self-acceptance. But first, I'd like to help you develop some awareness on how your potential lack of self-acceptance might be manifesting itself in your life right now. So here are 3 possible ways in which that might be happening for you. One is having unrealistic expectations of others. When we don't accept ourselves, we crave to be accepted and validated by others, thinking that it will help us feel better about ourselves if we were to receive their acceptance or their validation. It's like trying to heal something within you that's inside of you, but searching for something that's outside of you, external to you, to mend it. And this doesn't take away from the importance of finding our community where we can feel accepted and not judged, but where this external search for acceptance becomes faulty is when we develop certain expectations of others, so that they can prove to us that they care about us. And that only then will we feel better about ourselves. So does that sound like you? Let me know, okay? Because this has a lot to do with anxious attachment style, if you've ever heard of attachment styles, okay? So that's the first. And a second way in which a lack of self-acceptance can manifest itself is if we are constantly trying to fit into an environment that's not meant for us. In other words, as an example, it means that if you're, for example, an introverted HSP, and you're outnumbered, you're in an environment where you're outnumbered by extroverted non-HSPs, then you might feel that you need to change yourself or something about yourself and who you are and become more like them in order to feel accepted by them. Right? So that's a second way in which a lack of self-acceptance could be manifesting itself in your life. A third way is in the form of perfectionism. Now, this is very common for us highly sensitive people. When we are constantly pushing for perfectionism to an unhealthy level, or in other words, to the point where we no longer take care of ourselves, then we will normally feel like whatever we do is not good enough and that we need to be better than we actually are in that present moment. It's when we don't accept ourselves and our abilities or our limitations. And it's when we constantly convince ourselves that we are no good. It's that negative self-talk telling us that we're no good and that we should be better. And it's when we compare ourselves to others instead of accepting our differences, and maybe even learning from others or feeling inspired by them instead. So perfectionism can be very damaging to our self-esteem and to our confidence. So those are 3 ways in which a lack of self-acceptance could be manifesting itself in your life. So how do we change it? Here are 3 ways that you can start making that change right now. Number 1 is be okay with good enough. This means sometimes accepting that what we do will be imperfect and that done is better than not, right? So once you're okay with good enough, then you won't feel the need to constantly prove things to other people. And when you stop constantly trying to prove yourself to other people, it can be extremely liberating. So that's number 1. Number 2 is find your community of people. And I say this over and over again, but I cannot stress the importance of finding your community of people. And what I mean by this is your community of highly sensitive people, or your community of whatever it is that makes you feel different, right? People who you can relate to on that deeper level. And this is exactly why I've set up the 1 week Step Into Your Empowered Self Challenge. It's so that we can all get together as highly sensitive people, as empaths, and learn and grow alongside each other and support each other all at the same time. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to surround yourself with a community of people who can make you feel seen and heard and not judged and not dismissed or isolated, as we often feel as HSPs. And as humans, we all deserve to feel seen and to feel heard and to feel validated. So really important, find your community. And number 3 is reduce your expectations of others. If you feel unsupported, then find a supportive community, but also work on healing yourself. If your expectations of others are very high and you have a tendency to feel disappointed when people change plans, for example, or when they're not able to come and rescue you when you need something of them, then it means that something within you needs healing. And this wound that needs healing is something internal that needs your attention, that's asking and screaming out for your attention. If we keep looking to people external to ourselves or outside of ourselves to try and mend that, so to try and ease that sense of uneasiness within us, then we will only grow to become resentful and cast blame on others. And again, all of this is exactly why I've set up the 1 week Step Into Your Empowered Self Challenge. It's to take this work of healing, of inner healing and growth to a deeper level so that you can heal and grow within yourself rather than search for the external things to help you do so, rather than searching for that band-aid in other people. And I've set this challenge up to teach you the tools that you need to finally accept everything that you are, and also allow yourself to finally thrive as the HSP that you have the immense potential to be, which you might not even be recognizing right now. So in this 1 week challenge, I'll be teaching 5 masterclasses, which start this Sunday, the 17th of October, and run up to Friday, right? So there will be 1 week of masterclasses where I'll be teaching you shadow work so that you can face your shadows, because we need to face our shadows in order to see the light. And I will be teaching you how to manage your negative emotions and your negative self-talk. And I'll be teaching you how to communicate boundaries. I'll be teaching you about codependency. I'll be teaching you so many different tools. And above all, I'll be teaching you all these tools so that you can finally learn to tap into your inner power and your empowered self and finally thrive as the HSP that you were always meant to be, and so that you can serve others from a place of wholeness and from a full cup. So join the challenge, guys. Go to the link in my bio if you'd like to do so. And I'll offer you a discount code right now if you've made it to the end of this video. The discount code is EMP2. EMP2. And you'll get £15 off if you insert that on checkout. Can't wait to see you there, guys. I will be sending out recordings if you can't make the masterclasses live, so don't worry. But it will be an incredible, intensive week of healing and growth for everyone, and we'll all be supporting each other. It'll be just magical. I can't wait to see you there.